Hello everyone, my name is Priyanka Adhikari and this is my first YouTube video, and I was thinking why not share about my recent experience of traveling from Bangalore to Guwahati with my pet. So first of all, I would give you a few prerequisites of how to do this travel, what are the documentations that you should carry for your pet, and then I would detail you on the day of the travel. And yeah, that is pretty much that we would be covering in this video. So first of all, I would like to say that you have to book your tickets, and I booked one which is via Delhi. The reason being, right now due to the COVID situation, there are very scarce direct flights of Air India which are directly from Bangalore to Guwahati, and the ones which are available are connecting via Delhi and Kolkata, and those are long haul flights. So the best option which was available with me was the one via Delhi, and that was of total like 10 hours flight. So with a layover of 5 hours in Delhi airport, so I chose that flight. And then after booking the flight, I made some calls to the Air India customer support, seeking some advice that I'd be carrying my pet. So though they also mentioned that that go through the website and check all the do's and don'ts. So I'd be sharing the link in the comments below. And then I spoke to my vet that I'd be doing a travel with my pet. So my pet is a cat. She is around 9 months old, and she is with me since, I would say, since Feb this year. And then I thought I am going for quite some time now to my hometown, so I'd be carrying her. Then after booking and all of that is done, my vet told me that these are the certifications that you will require, and those were abiding by the regulations in the Air India's website. So the primary two certifications are, one is a fit for travel certification, and the other one is a rabies like injection is done, the rabies vaccination is done. So basically the vaccination booklet which you get when you have a pet, right? So these are the two primary documentations. After these are with you, one more thing about the fit for travel certificate is that that certificate is valid for only 24 hours. So of course the vet also knows about it, and he will definitely advise that the date of that certificate will be a day prior to your travel, so that's why it will be valid for 24 hours. So, and you should carry the originals of this documentation with you, and ensure to carry one extra copy of the fit for travel certificate. So all of this is done. Then starts, I booked around 2 to 3 weeks ahead of my travel date, and then I started to train my cat. So we made her wear the leash and the harness for a long time. This is necessary. It is also mentioned in the policy of Air India. And then we bought a crate, and the crate has to be of a certain dimension, and I'll be sharing the one which I bought. And we made her habituated in the leash and in the crate by making her sleep inside it, and she sleeps with the blanket. We put the blanket inside the crate, and she automatically when goes there, and she sleeps there. So it's been like 2 to 3 weeks that we continuously used to do this process. We sometimes take her in the lift also, so that she gets accustomed to that sound and everything. So that is how I think pretty much that we covered before the travel. On that day of travel, we started very early, though my flight was at 7 a.m. Then it got postponed to 8 a.m., and then we went for the we arrived at the airport. But just before the day of travel, just out of curiosity, I made another call to Air India just to have a health check that if everything is as per the uh, website is updated, and I'm carrying a pet. That's when they said that, ma'am, you have to take two health check forms since you have two flights, and those were the information which was not available. Maybe that is for the time being, I'm not too sure. So I fill those, and we have to do the web check-in in advance. So I did those, and you will have your boarding pass and your e-ticket with you, the printouts. Yeah. And then on the day of travel, you arrive at the counter for Air India. So I arrived around 3 to 3:30 a.m. in the morning. I went much in advance just to finish the formalities soon and then sit back and relax. So on the day when I arrived there, and they asked me to like, you have a pet, they immediately said, no ma'am, we are not allowing, and you have to put her in the cargo. You have to do your research in advance and then go on and speak to them with all your confidence that no, this is how it is mentioned, and all of the details. I am abiding by all the rules and regulations, and that's why I am taking the pet with me. But then they mentioned the pilot's approval is necessary for the allowance to carry the pet inside the cabin. So the hardest part was that they did not give me my boarding passes until the final call was done. So they made me wait until the pilot arrived, which was around 7:15 or 7:20. Until then, there was no action done. They just made me wait, and then after 7:15 or 7:20, they mentioned that okay, the pilot has agreed only for the cargo. So here there was another twist. There was another lady traveling with a pet, and she also had a cat, and she was traveling to Ranchi. She also had a connecting flight from Bangalore. So another point here came was that there were two flights for Bangalore to Delhi, Delhi to Guwahati. Then they mentioned that you have to collect your baggage in Delhi again, the check-in baggage you have to collect again, and then you have to check in once more. Though I have both the boarding passes, they would do all the process all over again in Delhi. So I had no other option left, so I just followed what they mentioned, and I just followed because it was really too late to even argue. And then we moved on to do the formalities, and then we weighed the cat. The shifu and in the crate was around 3.8 kgs, but I don't know what for what joy they spiked up the weight, and they charged me for 4.8, around 5 kgs. Okay, and then I paid for that, and each kg is charged for around 500 plus GST. So after all of these formalities were done, we had to sign some forms and then move on to the cargo, where you have to you know send the cat away in the cargo, and you have to take the cat with you so that the security check is done for the crate. So all of that was done, and the cat went. And trust me guys, that this feeling is something you don't want to have, leaving a cat in the cargo, and when you see the atmosphere of the cargo, no, it's not something that you really want, especially with this small tiny pet. Had been a year older or 2 year old, I think I would have been little comfortable. But I had no other option, so I had to run to catch my flight. The doors were closing, and finally I boarded the plane, and I really crossed my fingers to until I arrived at Delhi. So Air India is currently giving food as well in their flights. I think recently they were not used to, but now they have started to give food as well. So the moment I arrived in Delhi, so Bangalore to Delhi is around 3 hours something of flight, and the moment you arrive, well, in Delhi, the reception was really nice, and the moment you arrive, they had some records with them that okay, you are traveling with a pet, so they will escort you till the baggage carousel, and then you have to collect your baggage. They will help you carry the baggage, and they will escort you till the check-in counter, and then they will start doing the formalities on a priority basis. That was really nice. So for me, even though I had a lot of time with me, the other friend of mine, the other fellow passenger who was carrying a pet, it was really huge relief for her. So then we I was moving on with my part. So the other lady had left, and for me it was a bit difficult because I had too many baggages with me. but Air India ground staff were really helpful, and they helped me take do all the formalities. There were some people with Shifu who were, playing with her and everything, and Shifu also to some extent was resisting, and she was very quiet, and she did not do any kind of any sort of noises or anything. She was I gave her some cat treats in between and some water, and she was happy with it. I did also carry some cat litter with me, thinking that she might want to use it in between, but no, she was not. She was totally comfortable. And then uh, after carrying her, I went for the security check. So in between, they charged me for Shifu again. So that's what. So you'll have to pay it twice. It's a connecting flight. So you'll have. But here in Delhi, they charged me exactly for 3.8 kgs. They didn't spike up the weight or anything. And then they gave me the boarding pass, and though I had the boarding pass already, but they give us a separate boarding pass. It's not a boarding pass exactly, it's like a form for Shifu that she would be boarding with me. So it was sort of a consent that yes, she is abiding by all the regulations that was mentioned, and hence she would be flying with me. As I was like pretty confident. Yet they mentioned that the pilot's approval is still important, and again there I go. I was all hyped up again, but I was a bit confident just because thinking that I was in the boarding gate already. So after doing the formalities, you go towards your security check, and again you have to take the cat out to scan her crate and then put her back again. So after doing all of these formalities, you go and sit near the gate, you wait there, and until the pilot arrives, you have to wait for their go. So just after like the boarding time was 2:30, and just around 2 to 5 or something, the pilot had arrived, and they were very friendly, and they mentioned they saw me from far that okay, there's a pet traveling, and they bid me that okay, don't worry, it was all good. And I checked with the ground staff, what is that all about, and they said, ma'am, she's traveling with you, don't worry. So it was a very good reception is what I liked about the Delhi airport. And then that's it. You go board the flight. Of course, you get the last seat since you're carrying a pet, and if she travels with you in the cabin, you are bound to get the last seat only. That is one of the rules in of Air India. So after that, we boarded, and all was okay, and I finally landed in Guwahati around 6:20 p.m. and it was pretty comfortable, I would say. In the sense, yes, it was a very long flight and hectic one. Though after I arrived, there were a lot many formalities to do even in Guwahati, because you cannot go home directly. You have to go to the COVID testing center, and then if your results are negative, then you are allowed to go home from there with this home quarantine symbol. So what I did was I asked at my home, I asked my driver to come and pick my luggage and Shifu till the COVID center, so that I can finish my formalities from the airport. And from airport, they won't allow you to go in your own vehicle. You have to travel in the typical government bus which they gave, to which goes till the COVID center. And then after you reach there, you have to go through a round of screenings which will take you around 45 to 50 minutes for the whole process to end until your results arrive. Okay, so after all of this was over, then I came out and checked on Shifu in the car that if she is okay. I think by the time she was more than 18 hours, I think, inside the crate, not doing any movement. I think it was like the threshold that she has arrived at. So I somehow managed to arrive home by 9:30, and the moment I opened the crate, she was all outside. She was jumping around. So yes, that was pretty much the journey which I did, and this is Shifu. Here's a glimpse of Shifu. She's sleeping right now. Shifu, say hi. So, okay, so that was my journey, and so this is where the details of the journey ends. And if you have any questions and any information that you would want, I know I have just quickly gone through all the details. And if you have any question information, feel free to comment. I would be happy to reply back to you. And now I would speak about a few of the videos that I watched, few of these people that I spoke to who have um, influenced me, or to some extent given me the confidence that you can do this. So one of the YouTube videos which I watched was from Neha Nair, and I think she did a very well. She did a very fantastic video of how to do a pet travel in Air India. And then also Flurry Flyers. They are a pet transportation team. I actually called them to check for pet transportation, but they ended up giving me some good advice that, ma'am, you can carry her. It's no different from what we do and what you are going to do. So I think that was a very, and my fellow friends who helped me a lot during this whole journey, and really it was of huge support. So now coming to the question, when most of my friends ask, like, is it really worth it, or is it really so much of trouble, then I would say that right now the situation is not so great. It is the pandemic is here, and we don't get what exactly we want. Air India has been flying with pets since time immemorial, and they do carry pets, and they usually don't do so much of drama, except for what I faced in Bangalore. Bangalore was one of a kind of an experience. I don't think any of my friends who did travel with a pet ever experienced this kind of drama. For me, I think it was just bad luck, and I got acquainted with some really grumpy people, and hence, and the especially the grumpy pilot, whose name was, I had noted the name, Dev Prasad Dasgupta. So I don't know for what joy he just denied any pets, even though in Bangalore it was 84 people inside the flight, and from Delhi to Guwahati it was 104 people inside the flight, and they still allowed me. So I really don't understand what was the reason that that he really mentioned that no pets are allowed. So if the I think if if you abide by, if you follow all the policies, if you follow all the rules and regulations, I think it's quite doable. And don't worry about the pets so much, because they have this natural instinct to control and resist their habits. Even if you see, like, if you give them food, they will not actually eat the way they do at home. So it's quite natural that they will be able to cope up with the situation. But yes, I would definitely say that if you are not sure about it, then don't go for it, because it's going to be a huge problem for yourself as well as the pet. It's going to be a huge ruckus. So I would say, think about alternatives. Right now I did not have any alternative. I in fact thought about train, but there was no trains available at this time. And for me, I have a journey which is, like, it's not a short, but it's a long period of time that I'm here for. So I thought I would not hand over my pet to any pet care, because I'm not too sure how it's going to be. So it's a first time for me as well, so that's why I didn't want to take the risk. So in those cases, I think it's okay to take your pet, but be mindful of these steps that which you are totally not aware of. And even if you do lot of calls with the flight and lot of calls with anonymous people, they will, what happens really is on the day of the travel. For example, the check-in of the baggage, I did not know that it's going to be twice the same thing in Bangalore and in Delhi. Now that's a little hectic, because you have to carry your baggage again and then collect it, and then again go for the check-in and then again collect it. It's like doing two flights separately. So that is something which was not really, I did not understand the logic behind it again. So I think to take so much of trouble and travel, it's totally depending on your situation. If you're going, if you're shifting from one place to another for good, then I think it is quite doable. And if you are going for a short period of time and you're not sure about doing all of this drama and being, you know, being being so agile at a situation where, you know, there's a final call going on and you don't even have your boarding pass with you, I would say no, don't do it. um, See for alternatives, see there would be some option for sure. And I think once this there are more and more flights from Bangalore to Guwahati, I think it is going to be a better situation, and you would be I think the travel is going to be smoother. Yet I would still say that there is a dearth of flights carrying pets in India. It's really less. SpiceJet also used to carry pets in the hold, but now they have stopped as well. So it's only Air India, and they are leveraging on it big time. So uh, that's the whole story, and I wanted to share with you. And there's a so those who already did this journey, great job, guys. Like salute to you. And those who are going to do, I would say all the best. Don't worry, and I think it's all going to be fine. But make sure you go visit the website of the airline regularly, talk to them, and get all the documentations from your vet. Also, I would like to add the last point here is that about drugging the pet. Okay, there would be like I was also thinking about it because it's a long flight, and I was thinking that maybe should I just put a bit of drug to her, to the pet, to Shifu, thinking that she'll be a bit calm. But I did not do it. There was one thing I did not do it because I did not know how she would react to it, and moreover I forgot the tablet also. And I was really happy of not doing it because I don't think she needed it at all. She was really strong throughout the journey, and I'm really glad that I made this journey with. Yes, it's a bittersweet journey thanks to Air India and that pilot from Bangalore to Delhi. And yeah, that is pretty much all that I had to share. Thank you all, and thanks for watching for this video. Please share, please comment on it, and please share to your fellow pet lovers. And yes, thank you so much.